Hi, I'm Mike. Come in.
Nice to meet you.
Have a seat. So, how are things?
Things are okay.
Okay.
You know, it's October now, so
Yeah?
kind of new month and
Okay.
see how things are going.
Alright. So tell me a little about yourself before we talk about anything else.
Well, I'm from Los Angeles. I lived there my whole life. I love In-N-Out and Java Juice. I'm really missing it here. And when I was applying, I was top of my class in high school, and one of my guidance counselors talked about BC as being a good school, and so I decided to apply. I didn't visit beforehand. I just felt like I could look on the website, and that was kind of enough.
Okay.
So I applied, and I got in. I'm in school of nursing, and so I was excited to come for orientation and to move in. And things have been okay since, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your family and kind of your hometown, where you're from?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, I'm from LA.
Right.
My dad is a mechanic,
Okay.
and my mom works at Target.
Okay.
Actually, I haven't told a lot of people that before.
Okay.
Because it kind of seems like a lot of people here, their parents dress up in a suit and they go to work in a corporate environment, which is different for me, and different from the high school I went to. There were a lot of people who were, I guess you'd say, like blue collar kind of, and like not everybody went to college. You know, I had some friends that went to work or went to the military.
Okay.
So, you know, being at the top of my class, that was sort of what was being directed towards me, but it wasn't necessarily the thing to do.
Okay. What other colleges did you look at, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I looked at a lot of state schools. So I looked at UCLA and Cal State and some of the other state schools because I was really worried about financial aid.
Yeah.
Kind of shocked by the price of BC. Fortunately, I was in a program called Upward Bound, and they talked to me a little bit about how even though BC is really expensive, that a lot of times students don't end up having to pay what the actual price is.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I guess I'll apply. But BC was the only private school out of state that I applied to. Just because, like I said, it wasn't really the thing to do in my town. A lot of people, if they went to college, they went to community college or a state school. So I was kind of like the person who everyone was sort of surprised with leaving the state and going to such a elite school like BC.
Okay. Tell me more about this actual selection of Boston College and what kind of made you decide that in fact that is what you were going to do?
Well, you know, I found out that Boston College is a needs-blind school.
Okay.
And we talked about that a little bit in Upward Bound, and they talked about applying to schools that were needs-blind. So I found out that my financial situation wasn't going to be considered in the admissions process. So I thought that was kind of cool. And I did get a really good financial aid package here. But I'm still taking a lot of loans. So that's kind of worrisome to me because I don't really know how I'm going to pay those in the future. And my family, you know, they're just kind of making ends meet, so they don't really have a lot of extra cash to like help me with those loans. So, but you know, people told me that BC was a good school, and you know, I kind of wanted to get out of the LA bubble a little bit, do something a little bit different, and a lot of people kind of they sort of thought that I had the potential to like be something, and do something different. So I guess you could say I kind of had both hopes kind of riding on me. So I thought that I could sort of make my community proud by doing something different.
Well, it sounds like a lot of people had a lot of faith in you. But how do you feel about kind of the pressure that puts you under?
I think it's really hard because like my parents, they're really supportive of my education, but support only goes so far because they're not really knowledgeable about how to go about succeeding here.
Sure.
So they don't really know like what credits and courses look like or what office to go to for help about certain things. And I mean, even with financial aid, I mean, I pretty much did it myself. I had to track them down to get their forms, and they were kind of reluctant because they weren't really sure why they had to provide all this financial stuff. So I think it was something that I kind of feel like even though my parents support me, I'm still kind of doing it on my own because they don't really have the knowledge, and I don't really have the knowledge to sort of go through this like in the correct way.
Okay. When you were in high school, say other than say your parents, where else did you draw support from? Where else what was kind of a network for you?
Well, like I said, I was in Upward Bound, which I had a mentor
Okay.
who was the director, and she was kind of like she had a kind of similar story, but we kind of focused a lot on just getting into college. I thought that program was helpful for that part, but I don't think we talked that much about how to kind of succeed when we got there. So it was sort of like got thrown in, and we were sort of just expected to sort of sink or swim.
Okay.
And I kind of feel a little bit like I'm not really swimming right now.
Okay. Have you talked to this mentor you said was a woman?
Mhm.
Have you talked to her recently, or do you continue that conversation, or does it kind of really just kind of cut off?
We do sometimes, but with the time difference, it's kind of hard.
Right, 3 hours.
And I think our schedules are different now that I'm not in the high school schedule.
Okay.
But I haven't really been that great about keeping in touch with her. I think she sent me an email once a couple weeks ago, but I haven't really followed up at the moment.
All right. Well, it sounds like for you in high school, that was a person who did have a positive impact and was a support mechanism for you. I mean, maybe you could think about looking at that again and dropping them an email. It seems to have made you happy then.
Yeah, and I guess I mean, there's like Skype now too, so maybe that could be a way to kind of see her face to face.
Sure.
Because it does feel weird just to kind of connect that way. I feel like everybody's kind of it's less personal, so maybe being able to hear her voice and see her might be helpful.
Sure. Sounds good. Can you tell me more about the distance from home and the ability to talk to friends and family? How are you feeling with that?
Yeah, well, I guess this weekend has been really hard for me because it's parents' weekend.
Yeah.
And my parents can't come. They can't really afford to fly out here. I came here by myself, and they really want to come, but they can't take the time off of work. And so it's hard because there's all these events for parents and families this weekend, and I just feel kind of left out. My roommate is going to this Possum Heights thing, and one of my floor mates are going to a football game with their family, and I didn't get football tickets, so already, on Saturdays, I'm kind of alone, so this kind of makes it even worse. So, and I feel like there's not a lot of other people from LA here, so, a lot of people are from, New England or, prep schools, and it's just not really, I feel like it's sort of a different culture. There's some different, words and things that they do that, I just have never really been exposed to. I don't know, we don't really wear rain boots in LA. We don't, I'd never really, worn a North Face jacket. It's just never really, I just never thought of those things as being like a status symbol. And it seems like everybody does that, and everybody, talks about how their parents know all these people that can get them jobs, and it just sort of makes me feel like maybe I don't really belong here.
Okay. Um, Let me ask you, how was like the initial coming to Boston College period then, like the orientation period, orientation week? How was that for you?
It was okay. It was a little bit better than what it is now, because people were kind of friendly and like wanted to get to know people. But I think once they heard a little bit about like where I was from, and like the fact that I went to a public school in LA, I think they felt like they couldn't really relate to me, so they kind of backed off. And I feel like all the girls that went to girls' Catholic schools hang out together, and like all the guys that went to like all guys schools, and like I feel like the only people that went to like urban public schools are like the Ahana students here, and I'm not an Ahana student, so I don't even feel like I fit with them.
All right. What do you think the most positive experience you've had here so far is?
Um, I think I I think like my RA, I like her. I feel like she's really trying to reach out to me.
Okay.
I kind of don't know like what I kind of don't really understand her role. I kind of feel like I thought she was just sort of there to kind of be sort of a disciplined person, but she's kind of acting like she could be more than that for me. And I guess like the only thing I've heard about RAs is that they like write people up and like bust parties and stuff. And I mean, I don't even party that much, but I just like I guess I don't know how to like maybe utilize her. And I just like we have different backgrounds, but I feel like she is trying to connect with me, which I like. But I don't really know how to. I don't want to bother her, or like I know she's busy, so I don't want to like come to her too much. But I feel like she might be a good person.
Sure. I mean, our resident assistants are here to be able to help you in different ways, not just by like maintaining safety of the building, but also to work with their residents depending on their needs. So what would you like out of that relationship? What do you think would be helpful for you to talk to her about?
Well, I mean, I haven't really joined any clubs yet. I went past student activities day, and it was just kind of overwhelming. There were all these people kind of like yelling and throwing candy, and I was just like not really sure like what all these groups were. Like there were only a few groups at my school, and so I didn't really sign up for anything. And now I feel like that was my only chance. So like maybe talking to her about maybe things that I like to do, and like what clubs might work for that, and if there are any clubs that are still accepting people.
I'm sure. And that'd be a great thing for you to talk to her about. What kind of clubs and activities did you do in high school?
Um, well, I really like um dancing.
Okay.
I danced with a dance studio for a long time, and I like worked with little kids teaching them how to dance at a summer camp. And I don't know, I feel like it's a good stress reliever for me, but I haven't really found a dance group yet. I feel like there are some out there, but they just seem so competitive. Um, and I would just like to have the chance to like do that again, but maybe find a group that will, take people with different abilities, or like, cause like I use dance as kind of like a workout and also like stress reliever, but like I said, I'm not really sure like where to go or who to talk to about getting that.
Sure. It sounds like something that was really good for you in high school, perhaps helped you, be happy at that point, do the things you do now. Um, yeah. Let me ask you more about your room and your floor. How do you get along with your roommate?
We're nice to each other. We're respectful. I wouldn't say she's like my best friend though, and I kind of heard that like when you come to college that your roommate's supposed to be your best friend, and that kind of worried me because I felt like we didn't click that much because we had very different backstories. Like, her dad is a doctor and her mom's a lawyer, and like she went to like an all-girls private boarding school, and just feel like she's she's interested in English and I like science, so like just feel like we don't really have a lot in common. Um, so we haven't really hung out that much. We kind of make small talk, but I don't know if that's like I'm kind of worried about that because I'm not really sure like I feel like other people are connecting with their roommates and they're always going to dinner with them and stuff, and I don't know, me and my roommate, like, we don't fight, but we're just not really that close.
Okay. How about other people on your floor?
Um, well, I guess there's, like, one girl, who I kind of like. We're both a little bit quieter, and we both don't party too much on the weekends, so, like, I think, like, there's been one time where we've gone to, like a movie in O'Neill Plaza. But I don't know, I think with just like my class schedule and stuff, I haven't really like thought about doing that again because like it's a lot to kind of keep my head above water with nursing. Like, I don't really feel like my high school prepared me for the kind of science that we're doing right now.
Alright, tell me more about the nursing program. Why did you choose the nursing program?
Well, I mean, I wanted to be able to help people.
Okay.
And my parents talked about nursing as a field that's very like, like you can make a pretty good living, and there's a lot of jobs out there for nursing, and like kind of have a pretty stable life. And like I said, I want to help people, so I kind of thought that was a good way to do it. I liked science in high school, but I'm kind of overwhelmed by these enormous textbooks and all the memorization that we have to be doing, and just, I guess, like, I took AP biology, but my professor was kind of a joke. Like, I mean, my teacher was kind of a joke. Like, we could just kind of BS our way through, and it wasn't really, like, I did well because I tried, and, like, we got credit for stuff if we did it, not, like, if it was right. And now, like, we actually have to make sure we're getting things right, and, like, nursing's really strict because you have to pass. The pass rate is even higher than for most students because they're not going to let you into the hospital if you don't, like, know it.
Okay.
So I'm kind of worried about that just because nursing is what I thought, like, would be a good job for me, but I'm kind of feeling like even in that place, in my academics, sort of not working out.
Okay. What's your favorite subject this term? Which one are you enjoying the most?
Well, I really like this class that I'm taking called Courage to Know. It's like I think it's like a first year seminar.
Okay.
And I'd never heard of what those were, but my orientation leader was like, "You should take it. You should, like, it's supposed to be it's really good. Like, the teachers are good." And I don't know, like, the teacher that I have is like, he's in like theater or something, but he's just like a really cool guy, and like he's invited us to his house for dinner, and like it's a small class, and like all my nursing classes are like these huge lectures. And I feel like we don't really even talk about that much. We just talk about like CC and our like transition, but I don't know, I feel like I like the smallness of it. Like, I don't speak up too much in that class, but I like usually leave feeling like the most connected in comparison to like my nursing classes.
Sure.
So, but like I can't major in Courage to Know, so like I like not really sure, where that leaves me.
What's like your studying techniques? Do you work in groups? Do you work by yourself? Library or?
Well, I mean, I like I said, I didn't really have to study much in high school, and I still got to top my class. So I guess you could say I'm kind of a procrastinator. I tend to pull all-nighters the night before a test, and that that's, like, the best way for me to study, and I, like, haven't really worked with groups because I'm kind of intimidated. I don't wanna be, like, the kid in the group who knows the least. So, I'm I'm kind of hesitant to, like, work with my classmates because I feel like they were better prepared, and I feel kind of embarrassed, like, asking for help because I feel like my whole life I really didn't have to do that. Like, I was top of my class, or if I asked for help, it was, like,